welcome to the YouTube channel Blender Insight. Today I'm going to talk about me, my goals, and what you could do for me to make me very happy. Most of you know that I have a YouTube channel since you're here, but I also do a lot of other stuff. And I will go through them just a little bit so you know who I am and what I'm doing on the internet for you. So I'm having this Facebook group, Blender Procedural Textures. We are soon 2,000 members. Started this this Christmas. And what I'm trying to do here is, of course, help as much people as possible to learn how they should do procedural textures. And it's a lot of activity, a lot of fun members, and we work a lot of we are doing a lot of good stuff here. Then I have my YouTube channel, which you know, and I also have this blenderinsight.com page where you can download textures, procedural textures, totally free, and you can do whatever you want with them. Since they are the blend file, you could see the nodes, you can change them, and you can do whatever you want. And I will try to increase the materials as much as possible here, so you can get stones and you can get metals and organic things like eggshells or toad skin. I don't know. Whatever I can think about and do, I will put it in here. So that is for you to use. And then I write stuff. I try to write as much as possible to teach people how to use Blender, and mostly about how to work with the textures. And the reason that I started to work with textures for as a learning stuff for people was that I found that in a lot of forums and Facebook groups and so on, the question was always how to work with the nodes. They are so complicated. So I thought, okay, then I start here. But in future, perhaps I will go through other stuff as well. And I write even more. So I also have these procedural aware how to make things look old. And where you, in the end, create a lantern with a rather complicated node setup. But it will be good in the end. So, to maintain all of these and to work as much as possible with it, I would like you all to at least think about being a Patreon supporter for me. I just started, so I don't have that much of members, so to say. But if you could just add like $1 or something, it would help me a lot, because it could give me more time to work with this, so you can get something back. And I understand, since I do all of this for free, why should you pay? And I thought a little bit about it, and what I found out is that sometimes I do textures that are almost too complicated for you to use right from the start without any guidance and so on. And those complicated textures, they give a great result, but you need to learn them a little bit. So they will not be free. You will get them, but you will get them even if you just give me the smallest amount of money here. So if you are a paying patron, you will get my wall tile set as a start. Then I don't know what it will be in the future, but this is what you will get. And what it is that it's a lot of node groups that together can create amazing result of tiles used for walls mostly, or floors. And the file that you get will look like this. And in here I have one flat demo for using the texture on a plane. I also showed you how to use it on a UV, and then I have the storage for all the node groups, and these are the node groups that you will get. So I will go through them and how you will create this material. We can start just looking at the flat demo, because that is the most simple integration or connection with these node groups to create a texture. So what you need is to tell the plane where to put the texture, and that you will do with an input coordinate, texture coordinate. And if it's just a plane like this or a wall or something like that, it's just to connect it to the object here with no need to UV. But if it's a more complicated pattern, then you of course need to UV unwrap, and it would work in that case as well. And if we look at that demo UV, you will see I will just connect it with UV, otherwise no big difference here. So you can work with UV, but you don't have to. It's all depending on how we'll use texture. You can always bake it as well and then use it as a normal image in the future if you would like to do that, to avoid to have very complicated nodes when rendering. But everything is up to you. Okay, so how does this thing work then? I will also rename this so that I don't crash anything. Demo tiles, something like that. And save as blend file. Okay, that's why I save things. Okay, now it's black. Take it from the beginning. Add a diffuse shader. And add the factor into that. This is what you get from the base tile. And we have a lot of parameters, but they are not so hard to understand. We have the edge width, and that is the space here between the tiles. And if you increase it, you will increase the width as well. You also have what I call spread edge scratches, and that is, if you can see in close-up, you can see that in some cases they are not a perfect line. It's going out a little bit here and also here and so on, and these could be spread more on the tile or less on the tile depending on the number here. And how much it should leak between the tile and the edge you can have here. So if you have a high number, it will ruin the edge very much with the scratches. But if you have a small amount, it will be more even here and only ruin a lot of the tiles. So you can decide how much leak you want. Then you can decide how much scratches you want. So if you don't want to work with scratches, you can have it to 1. Then it's almost just the edges here. Or you could have almost or you just work with the scratches and then it's 0. But normally it's something between, because you have the edges here and you have some scratches. Then you have the tile scale, and that is of course how much tiles you want here, and you can increase and decrease as you want. So if you want to build really big one, it's very easy to do that, and small ones, it's very easy to do that as well. So it's just to play with that until you get the size that you want. Then we have the frequency of scratches. So right now you can see I have some here and some here, but it's no scratch here. So that you can of course increase, and if you put it to 1, you will have scratches on every stone. And that is not something that is natural, but in some cases the stones really look like this even when they are new from the factory. So that is, you can control it using the frequency scratches. I normally put that to about half. So, and then you have scratchy seed, and that is where you want these scratches to be. So you can just change that one and they will jump around and put the scratches on different places. Then you have the scratches granularly, and that is how these lines should look. So if you have a very low number like this, it's slow round edges here. But if you have very high number on this, you will see they are very curly. So you can decide a little bit how you would like those to look by changing this granularity here. And then you have the hit area, and that is how close to the edge it should be. So sketch the hit area, if I have it close like this, it will be near the edges, but if I increase it, it will go up to the stone more and more until it's almost eating the stone up. So you can have the hit area here to the side. Invert height it's normal like this, that you get this shape from the factor out and then you can work with that. But in some cases, depending on what pattern you put on the tiles, it could be that the tiles seems to go down instead of up and so on. Then you can use the invert height, but the invert height is connected to the height here. So if I'm looking at the factor right now and I change the invert height, nothing happens. But if I instead use the height here and then invert height, I change the image to be exactly the opposite, and then I can control it, of course. The reason I have two output is that it could be that you would like to work with this structure in continuous and have that only as a bump and so on, but that is up to you. The only thing you have to remember is that the height is connected to the height here, and the factor is the factor. Okay, so that is a little bit how these things work, and then how deep these edges should be, that you can control with the deep color mortar. So if it go down, it will be darker, and up it will be lighter. And also about the scratches. The scratches is normally less shallow than, or doesn't go as deep as the mortar, so they are often a little bit lighter. Don't work with colors, just work with black and white here. It will work fine for you. So that is what you can say the bump map. You're creating the bump map here. So the next thing you will like to do is to add some color into it. So we do that by pressing Shift A, go to the group, and here you have all these that you get, and here you have base tile color, so you can put that up here. The base tile color, you see that some of these numbers here or the names are the same, and then you just connect them. So vector to vector, factor to factor, tile scale to tile scale, or in some cases, if you want to, you could use height to factor as well. It depends what you want to do. Then you get a lot of information out here, and one of those are the structure, and you have factor tile, you have edge color, and you have tile color. So what should I put here? Could be hard to do without another one. So Shift A, group, and here we have something called shader tile output, and that one is built for use together with this one. So now I can take away the diffuse. I put in the shader output. Right now it just showed the tile color, but since we have not connected it to the structure, nothing happens. So now we can take the factor here, put into the factor, and now you can see the lines. We can put in the edge color, which we get from here, and we can put in the tile color that we get from this here. And now it's starting to look like something. We also have the structure, and that we can put into the bump height. And as soon as we do that, you can see that it lifts the stones up here, or the tiles. If I look a little bit about base tile colors and what you can do here, you can of course change the edge color, so it can be a little bit deeper or lighter. And you can see here, if I go down now, it changes, so the stones looks like they are in words, not outwards. So it's then you can play with the height or change the color here. But that is one reason why I have the invert height here. So edge color you can play with, of course. You can also add moss into this here, so you can just put in amount of moss and you get it here. Now you get just one color here, but it's like everything else that you can easily add some variation, adding like a noise texture or something like that, and put in like a color ramp between where you create your own type of edge color moss with some variations. So like this, perhaps something like that, and like this, and then take the scale up a bit, and now you can see there are variations in the moss, and then you can go down and decide how much you would like to have on the moss and how much you would like to have for the tile or the edges. So that is how you easily can change the colors, and that is of course workable for all these things. So you don't need to have one boring color here. You can of course connect whatever you want to this. It could be images, it could be patterns, whatever that you would like to have. Then we have the tile color 2, and the tile color mix. And as you have you work with the brick, which I believe you have done, then you understand this, I think. So if you take it to this -1, I only use this one, and if I take it to 1, I use that one, and in the middle I get some type of mix between these two. Then I can do the same with the tile color moss as I do with the edge color moss. I can use the same here if I want to, and add some moss on the stone as well, so it goes into these scratches here. So that you can do a lot of things, and when you have this, it's also that I can now play with this to make that look a little bit older by increasing scale for different things. You can see if I spread the edge scratches more, you see it goes out to the stone a lot more, and I can now decide how much I would like those to be mixed. And you can see very easily that will be something that is old and so doesn't look very new and bright anymore, and I could decide if I just want it to be hard or little, and if I would like to be very visible or not visible at all, just controlling with the color. So if I use 0 or white, it's almost away, and if I take a darker, you can see it looks like it's eaten the stone completely. So you can very easily change how much you would like it to be visible by changing the color here. And you could change the seed and frequency and so on, as I showed you before. And yeah, it's just to play with these numbers until you think you found something that works. It could be that you don't want it to have over all the stone, just a little bit, then you just decrease this, and now you only have it on the edges here. So it's very easy to play, test and see how you would like it to be. And now we can go to the shade, the tile output. And here you decide how much these will go up and down with the bump strength and bump distance. So if you would like to go down a bit, you can just take this down. You have the roughness here. You can have it static, but it will always look better if you put structure into that one. And do it like this. Put in, no, you don't need to that. You just put in the structure. Yes, sorry. You can normally put in a converter, a math, and a multiply here, because then you can steer or control the roughness a lot. So just put that into roughness and put the structure in here, and now you can control it so you get what you want. And suddenly the reflections will look a lot more like in the real world. So don't forget, don't put roughness that is controlled like this. It will not be that good. It's better to put it like this. So yeah, now you have a stone worked with the base, so to say. Now we pretend that this is old one, and then you have like add-ons to the shader tile output. So I could put in like Shift A group with the Rainy Moss add-on and put it in here. And as you can see, I have tail scale, moss amount, blah blah blah, and vector. So use that from the base tile start node here. So I need a vector. So then I take the vector from that one, and you see now the moss comes on the right place, but then we also need a tile scale. Take that from this one as well, and now it follows the lines in a good way. So so here we can decide, and that is the color here is now just one color, but you can of course use something like this to change the moss color here as well. And to do that, change or do the changes here, you can do a lot of things very easily. You can decide how much moss you want, very little or much. You can decide if it should be straight lines or if it should be like round things here. So if you go to the round to hard lines and put that to 1, you will have straight lines here. But if I take it to be completely round, you will see it will be that kind, and I think somewhere between normally is the best. And if you think the moss is too much from the tiles, you can decide to have a lower moss shadow like that, perhaps. Just decide how much distance you want from the tiles and so on. And where the moss should be, you can decide using the moss seed here. The moss amount on structure decides how the moss should be on the structure that is in the tile here. I will show that later on when I create lots of structure on the stone, and then it will be more visible. So this you can put in. You can also erode the stones, so they go, yeah, they disappear because of weather and so on. So just put in Shift A, and now you have the eroded background. So it works like the other one. Now you have the shader from here, and you can put it in here. And you also need a vector, so take the vector as we did before, put it in here, and now you can see that I have stones that are really eroded, and you can decide here a lot of things. As normally with all these things here, you can decide a color, of the road, which means that in some cases it doesn't have to be a road. It could be blood, or it could be more moss or whatever. But my default thought about this is that it's eroded stone. You can decide here how much details you want of the road, and you can also do things like smoothing it up or down, so it's just using the surface, or if it's go a little bit deeper into the stone by taking the details down a bit and taking that one down a bit, and then you get this one. You also could control the direction of the road a little bit. You have something called noise scale and scratch noise X and scratch or noise Y and noise X, and by that you can control it, so you can increase or decrease the noise here. And then if I take that up, it will follow the X, also sorry, Y a lot, and if I use that other one, it will follow. So you can change exactly how you would like this to be until you get what you want. And then you have the visibility here, so if I don't have that high at all, you can hardly see it, and if I take it up, then I can make it very visible, and it will take away the stones completely. So it's good to be able to control it to make it exactly as you want to. Okay, so those two add-ons I built. I think I will add more in the future, but those you have to play with. Then I was talking about the structures here, so that you can do a lot of things with. So I have something called tile structure. So if I put in the tile structure here, I could change the structure of every tile. So vector input, then I take that one. The tile scale, I take the tile scale in here, and now I can connect this to the normal here, and if I want to, I can also connect it to the normal here, and the normal here. Now I have it in every way here, and what I can do here is to change the shape of the stones a bit. If I like this, go up with the circles, I can create circles here, and if I can take down that so I don't have it anymore, circle distance 0. I also have borders. I have the border from this here, but I can create another border size here if I want it to be like this, for instance. It's easy to do, and I can decide if I would have it smoothen or not, so it could be like patterns like this. It's up to you how you would like to do with this. And you can also create normal noise, so just add in that and you will get these type of things that you have here. Or if you want to, you could also add the Voronoi pattern if you want to. So you have a lot of things to do. You could also put in your own structure here in the custom map, and of course in the same way change things. And as you had here invert height, you have that as well. So if you saw that the Voronoi was going inwards, you can change that to outwards if you want to. So it's very easily. Okay, now I will do like this. I will put the circle distance up a little bit, and now I will go to my moss here, and here I have moss amount on structure, and here I have my moss. So if I now take up this very much, just so you can see it, you will see that the moss is climbing or getting on the structure here. So if you have a structure on the stone and you would like the moss to be on that structure as well a little bit, that is how you control it. So it's very easy to change things to make the stones exactly as you want to. And what I will show you now is how you could change these colors. You have, of course, yeah, you can use images or whatever, but I also have different tile types that you can use and put in as a color here. So if I go to, sorry, not that one, this one, then I use only that tile color, and I put in my tile type 1 into this. I now change this, how it will look. I would like to have it on every tile, so I connect it to my vector here, and I also connect let's see here. No, sorry. What I will do is like this. I need a vector and scale and put that in here. And here I can put in the tile scale as well. And now I get the shape for each and every tile here. And that is a very good thing to use. I built it so that you can add even images. So you can use an image and put the image on the complete wall, like one big image or photo, or you can put it on every tile, and that you control with this one. So vector and scale, put it in and you can control it. And the tile type 1, yeah, it looks like this. I can go a little bit closer so you can see how it looks. And you can change shape here if you want to make it, I don't know, look like this instead. You can shape the colors or change the colors to do whatever you want. And you can play along with it. You can, yeah, it creates different things, of course. So you can do wall like this, whatever you like to. And the other tile types, they work exactly the same way. So you can just go in and select like tile type 2, for instance, and it will then look different. It will look like this. And if you do these things, put in the tile type and so on, you could also put it into the custom map if you want to get a structure that is more visible, exactly following this tile type. And if it should be correct, you should really put in a RGB to black and white here. Now you get the structure into here, and then you can control how much you would like to have that, how visible you would like it to be. So now you can see you have it really visible here. So there you can play with it. I have, as I said, 4 different tile types. I don't need to go through them. You can play with them yourself and you will see how it works. You could also, as I said, instead of using my tile types, do exactly the same thing as this one, but using a normal image texture. So texture image texture, and then you just connect vector and this one here, and also put it in up here, and then you get the images here. So it's just for you to open and find a good texture that you would like to have as an image, and it will be in there on every stone with the structure and everything. So that means that you can do almost everything with these node groups. So it's up to you. If you would like to have this and to play with the node groups, and you can also of course go into each node group and change the look of them if you want to. You can see they are rather complicated. There are a lot of them, and you can do a lot of things. Some of them are easy, some of them are a little bit more, and so on. But you can change every node group, you can change everything, you can use this as you want to, and it's easy to put in and change your colors, structures, whatever, and create a wall of your choice very easily. So if you like to have this, then it's, as I said in the beginning, be a patron to me, and you will get this, and you will get all the other stuff as well. And if you don't want it, you don't have to, and you will still get a lot of stuff, but the more advanced things like this I will keep for my members. So this is a little bit how to work, and hope it has been fun to watch, and yeah, see you next time, and I hope I will give you a normal tutorial and that time. Okay, thank you and bye.